This PSA was brought to you by the Peter G Show.
You may have second thoughts after this show.
Don't drink the faucet.
We're really talented. We should get Oscars.
Just pick out a car, for Christ's sake.
No, hi, my name is Peter.
Yeah,
I want.
Here's good.
Yeah.
Madam Perry.
I need to get back in the genie bottle.
Louis from Pennsylvania, you're on.
He likes it.
It's showtime!
Peter G Show, Peter G Show, divorced dad, single dad, divorced dad, single dad, Peter G Show.
That's right. It is showtime. Wednesday. And a beautiful day it is. Hey, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well considering the times we live in. Keep your chin up is all I can say. Stay frosty and don't back down. Keep your eyes open. Can't be sleeping. It's no time to be sleeping on the job. But either way, if you're watching this show, it means we're all here, so I thank you. I also thank everybody, all the new subscribers. Thank you. But here's the thing. Please subscribe, follow, and share on multiple platforms, okay? YouTube, your Facebook's, LinkedIn, even the audio podcasts and things like that. And here's why. I'm getting posts and things taken down a lot lately, on different platforms, TikTok and YouTube. I'm getting banned and here and there. And I'm trying to stay within reason, but you can't ever tell with these guys. It's their platform. They can do what they want and you can't argue with them. So if you're on multiple, if you're, subscribed, that way it's like, hey, what the hell happened to Peter? If you care. Now, some people can care less, but if you do care, just sign on to different ones. Just to subscribe, especially YouTube. It's always iffy, but I want to keep it relevant. And again, I can go to some of these like-minded platforms when I'm bitching about things like Rumbles and BitChutes, which I'm on. And I can exclusively stay on those, but I'm trying to reach, because we do so many different variety of shows that are very meaningful. And I'm trying to stay in the platforms for all the centralized people like YouTube and Facebooks and LinkedIn's and, TikToks and all that kind of stuff. I'm trying to stay relevant in those platforms for the people that are sitting on the fence. Because, whether you love me or hate me, I don't need an attaboy on the back. I don't. But I truly believe that we do bring some topics that do a lot of good. Last week, speaking of, I hope you guys tuned in and were able to catch last week's show. Miss Poppy Long was on, and she talked about her battle of 30 years of alcoholism, alcohol abuse, and she survived to talk about it. It's a big deal. A lot of people can relate to that. A lot of people have had people they lost from alcoholism, going through it, living it, knowing people going through it. Hurts. And she came on the show and she talked about it. And these are the things that I like spreading around. These stories, sharing stories. You're not alone. And I do that right here. So just subscribe different places, especially audio podcasts. If you're too busy to watch, it's a long form show. I totally get it. The show's long, and you got to really have dedication. And I love the people who do watch. I do. I love you. I love them all. Whether you just watch the shorts because you want to get right to it. Oh, I forgot all about that. Yeah. Boy, do I got something I want to tell you guys. Oh, that'll come up in a little bit. But either way, some people don't have time. Okay. I get it. Different, you have to watch something else. Maybe it's just not me, but we do have all these short highlight clips you can watch during the week. But so you got to go different places to get this stuff. Instagrams, TikToks for the shorts, but the longs are on YouTube's, Facebooks, and everything. Just you can figure it out. Come on. I know I got a smart crowd. Most of the people in my crowd are pretty smart. There's a few that I'm going to talk about. I don't know whether it's just because they're new subscribers and they just don't understand yet, but this is not a newscast. I'm not a news anchor. I'm an entertainment talk show, but I do touch on all this stuff. So you got to go with my flow on this, okay? I'm not about to just start the show, give you the news, and get off. I'm on for an hour plus, okay? Otherwise, what the hell am I going to do? Just keep repeating myself. Although some people say I do. You can't please everybody. But next week, before I forget this too, because I get lost. Next week, Wednesday, October 25th, former Red Pill Hardcore radio talk show host. He's been on this show before, many times actually, through the years. V. I want to get his perspective of what's going on the other side of the world, because he's been residing in Poland. And, you know, people take things differently. They look at the United States a lot differently, and they get different news because the media is so screwed up, the way they feed us all this baloney. And you really got to weed through, especially right now, all the lies and things that are going on. And people just believe everything they're watching. You don't have to believe me either. All I'm saying is do a little bit of work, you know, fish around and then gather up your information and judge. You know, I had to do that. I do it every day. Have to. Although some things slide by. But anyway, V's going to be on the show Wednesday, October 25th, former Red Pill Hardcore show, radio talk show host. He left that show just recently, and we're going to find out what's going on and get his take on what's going on with his version of all these wars, borders, you name it, this catastrophe that we're living in right now. He'll be on next week, so you're not going to want to miss that either, because he's pretty good. And I'll tell you what we're going to do. We are going to get to so much stuff, the current events that's going on right now. You know, we can lucky us. There's so much crap going on. I don't even know where to begin every week as I go through all this stuff. I have to weed it down. But we're going to talk about this current new war that's going on. And I'm still on the border because the border has a lot to do with everything, because it has a lot to do with us. And us is getting left behind. But that's what we're going to be doing. But first, I'll be back in a minute after we hear from my good friends over at Clean Star Products with their DX1 driver money-saving fuel additive that really works. I'll be back in a second.
Hello, I'm Tyrone Thompson of CleanStarProducts.com. This is DX1 Driver in the news, and here's what our friends have to say.
So I'm here to recap on the DX1 I've used. I put it in the oil and I put it in the gas. While I'm using it just for about 3 tanks. Cleaned everything out. I got every ounce of power back in my truck.
When Jared's truck was new, it had a lot of power. Then over time, it began to slow down. He got it all back with our DX1 driver program.
Something you got to see for yourself. It's a great product. It's affordable. And it blows all the other additives and esters out of the water.
DX1 Driver is the finest oil in the world from a California environmental company. It goes into the fuel system and the oil. It's the only green grade product qualified for the carbon credits program, giving you better fuel mileage, lower emissions, and increased horsepower. So join the fuel savings revolution today. Go to CleanStarProducts.com/shop.
That's right, Clean Star Products. All I can tell you is they have an actual product that works. Let's face it, folks, it makes sense to save money. And we're going to even go a step further. If you go over to Clean Star Products, call the number on their site, they'll talk to you directly and answer any of your questions with their DX1 driver and how it works and what they can do for you and what it can do for you. And on top of that, as if that isn't good enough, let them know that you saw it on the Peter G Show, because they're looking for people, owners, operators that would appreciate, a reduction in fuel consumption. I mean, it just makes sense, right? But you tell them you saw it on the Peter G Show, and I promise you that they're going to give you an extra bonus to your order. Just mention my name, Peter G. You saw it on the Peter G Show. Normally that costs people money, but in this case, it's going to be it's going to be a good thing. So just let them know you heard it on the show, and they're good people. They will talk to you, and they care. So do that. All right. Where are we at? Hang on one second. Woo. Smooth. I tell you, I love you guys. I want to always make sure I mention that, because that's so important. Love is something that gets lost in translation. Appreciation. All the above. I before I get started on all the war stuff, 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, we had the emergency alert system broadcast thing. I got to do this. I got to get this off my chest. It's been bugging me, and I couldn't get to it last week. We had that little emergency broadcasting, emergency alert test, or whatever you want to call it, and people were freaking out, because like it was supposed to do something, and I can get into it, but nothing's going to happen when they tell you alert system. Let me tell you, radio waves can't be seen. And if radio waves are going to travel through this environment and our atmosphere, they're going to be traveling through it, whether there's an actual sound going with it or not. And so, but people get, again, the conspiracy theories, and there's real theories to the conspiracy, or real conspiracies. But I played a video. Here's the thing. I played a video that I said that because we were on that day, the day that they had the test. Hours later, the show was on live. So I played a little video and I said, hey, I happen to capture some video from CNN, which is a news station I do not watch. I used to decades ago, but they've sold out. All they care about is, getting you to watch, and it doesn't matter what they say to get you to watch, and they will. So I played a little clip. I said, they have video of the aftermath of the emergency alert system after effects from what happened. And I played this little video, and I'm only going to play you a little piece of it. Okay, so here, check this out. Okay, that's enough of that. You get it, though. It's a bunch of people walking around dressed as zombies, all right? It's a bunch of people walking around dressed as zombies. This just goes to show you how, and we're going to get to this when it comes to the war and propaganda and all this. Had I meant it to be serious, I'd be going, this is just in from, I guess I'm a better actor than I thought, because I wasn't really trying to. It was called political satire. Now, most of my audience, and I do say most of my audience, I have an intelligent audience, but maybe it's the new people or some people who just saw the short clip of it because I put it on a short, and that's all they watched. And maybe they thought I was serious as hell. I'm Peter G, and this is the news. This just in, zombies from the emergency alert system. Come on, give me a little credit. But I got comments after comments. You're a friggin' idiot. That's not real. And it's like, really, genius? Thank you. I know. It wasn't meant to be real. It was a little stick in the side, because knowing nothing was going to happen from that emergency alert, it was a joke. How's that? And it was an intentional little bit of sarcasm, satire as it's called, because it wasn't real. But boy, oh boy, there's people that took it seriously. They told me to go F myself. Wasn't me the first time, but they were serious. And it's like, hey, have a nice day, grumpy. But anyway, so I just had to get that off my off the table. It's like, what? We have a little bit of fun here. See, some of the comments are starting to come in. Lonnie, Chris, thank you for loving the broadcast and the content. That's one. Chris says, where's it at? Love your broadcast and the content. Great. If I could just get about another 2 million of you, I'll be in good shape. Get a lot of haters lately, but then again, they're watching, so who's going to complain? But I have to talk. Somebody says, like, just let it go. But I think the mentality of the whole deal, it's just worthy of talking to, because this is why we are so divided. There's so much crap going out there. It's like people will believe anything, as opposed to me, who believes in nothing. I don't believe anything I read anymore. I have to keep looking deeper to make sure, and even then, I question it. Question everything. You have to nowadays. This is the times we're living in. Either way, please don't get pissed off. And another guy got pissed off because he says, we're having all these issues and you're just screwing around. It's like, back down, take a breath, back down. We have to breathe. We can't live in all gloom and doom, even though it is pretty pathetic what's going on around us. But, that's like trying to tell a comedian, stop being funny. How dare you be funny during these times? Everybody's got a job. If you don't want to watch, the beauty of it is so far we have some rights still left and you can just turn the channel. But I appreciate you watching. I do. And a lot of these people will bitch at me and they continue to watch. Some people hate the 1 minute intro that happens. There's a prequel to the show, starting. I have to do that because it's a live show. That 1 minute is where we make sure everything is up and running for the live stream. So I need that minute. Now, the people that watch the show after it goes to on demand, I'm sorry, you have to put up with 1 minute of an interesting countdown. It's not that bad, but boy, some people just grumpy son of a bitches. But I love them too. Thanks for watching. And they'll go out of their way to comment. So I appreciate it. See, that's what I mean. People put effort where they want to put it. Now I'm going to put my effort off that. I'll stop talking about that. Yes, I know. Thank you. Thank you. Let's get to the current here and now, which I know everybody's going, come on, get it on with it. I'm going to get those people too. But I'll just keep going because this is the way it works on this show. It's a flow. War. Didn't get to talk about it last week, as if we didn't have enough crap going on with our lives. We have to have another war in another part of the world. And now it's going to start. It's the propaganda, the lies, everybody jumping, bombing hospitals. And again, you got to stop and let things simmer to weed out the bullshit. But either way, at the end of the day, Hamas, I think there's amazing Muslim people. There's a lot of peace-loving people. There are a lot of loving people of all types in the world. But there's a lot of bad people in the world too. And Hamas is one of them. They are from the age-old barbaric, cut your head off, film it, send it to your families, and film it so everybody can see. I mean, they just it's gruesome. They do things in a gruesome kind of way, and that's the way they are. ISIS was the same way, and it's just the way it is. They believe if you don't think like them, if you don't live the way they live, which is like in a cave, you should die. And all I can say is, screw you. Again, there's a lot of peace-loving people, and unfortunately in Palestine, there was a lot of peace. Everything was calm over there. Everything was calm. Trump got it calm, whether you think so or not. But Palestine is still, inhibited with Hamas lives in Palestine, and they practically run the place. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that are so scared to go against them that they just make like they are for them. And it's sad because in all these wars, just like over there, with Russia and everything that's going on with Zelensky and all that stuff, these people, who's getting the blunt end of it? The common people, are getting it, are getting the blunt end of it. It's just sad, and it's all about money. War makes money. It's just the way it is. But these people started it. We haven't heard anything. There's been no problems going on. And all of a sudden, they decide they're going to just come in. So at the end of the day, it's like, I don't care. You want to side with Palestine? I feel for the people. But Hamas, and then you're going to have, Hezbollah on the other side of, in Lebanon and all these people? Screw them. Okay? They started it. So what do you expect Israel to do? Whether you like the Jews or hate the Jews, they have been around a long time, and they are definitely prepared. They have fought their entire civilization. Yeah, here's the thing, because I got, I got somebody who's close to me, and he's a younger guy, and he's Palestinian, kinda, and he's, just jumping at the gun. Every news thing, he believes everything that they're feeding, over here, and it's just like, you need to take a breath, because at the end of the day, if we're at a bar and you start a fight with me and hit me, I'm going to hit you back. And I've learned that a lot of these people, when they're drunk and they hit you or start shit with you, if you don't put them down to where they can't get up, they're going to come at you again. Israel's at that point. They've had enough. It'd be one thing if they went and did military strikes for some and had a reason for it, another reason, and hit military sites or something. They just went in and just started wiping out people. It doesn't matter. They want to wipe out people. So you know what? I'm sorry, you're going to get what you're going to get. I hope it doesn't turn out even to be a ceasefire mess, because they need to. Trump wiped out ISIS. Well, Trump's been gone for 3 years, whether you love him or hate him, and they all came back up. And now they're shooting at us, or going to be shooting at everybody with our own weapons for all that stuff that our current administration left over there. Yeah, $80 billion in weapons. Going to get killed by their, American bullets. So it sucks. Okay, so that's all. But hey, what do I know? All right, what do I know? So here's the thing. Let's start with some videos. I love videos. I know you do too, because during the course of the show, when people are watching afterwards who don't know this show, they're commenting, "Just hurry up and get to the videos." Calm down. Calm down. This is the band Beard. He's been on. I've featured him on this show because this guy. I wish I had him on this show to be commentary live with me, because he's just an intelligent guy that does his homework. He doesn't just take in anything he hears and runs with it. He does his homework. So this is going to start everything out. And I mentioned Donald Trump before, and we're going to start out with Trump, because when all else fails, blame him. How about that? Just blame him. So check this out.
So now we're hearing that Donald Trump is responsible for what's happening between Hamas and Israel. Here we go again. We have a fuck up by the Biden administration, but we're going to blame Donald Trump because, we're in a cult. See, Joe Biden has not done anything wrong. He's been too busy sleeping in the basement of the White House. Russia, Ukraine, that's Donald Trump's fault. Israel, Hamas, Donald Trump's fault. The tension between us and Russia, the tension between us and China, and the escalating tensions between China and Taiwan, that's all Donald Trump's fault. The fact that the Middle East countries have turned their back and Saudi is now working with China and Russia, the African countries have turned their back on the United States and said that we're weak and woke. We're seeing the same thing in South America. It's all Donald Trump's fault. Donald Trump was only in office for 4 years. He's been out of office for 3 years, but it's Donald Trump's fault. Donald Trump, who was a staunch supporter of Israel, supported Israel in every single way and was harsh with Iran and even rocket attacked and killed an Iranian terrorist leader, in which the left got angry over. Donald Trump did things with the embassy that every other president promised in Israel, but Donald Trump did. But this is Donald Trump's fault. It has nothing to do with the Iran deal, $6.5+ billion we gave him, the weakness that we've been showing around the world stage. The fact that we were trying to negotiate with Iran to buy oil because we're cutting our own production, and they're going to do nothing but good things with that money, right? It was Donald Trump's fault. I wonder if any of those weapons that we've been sending over to Ukraine that were on the black market, 100% definitively proven, were hitting the black market. I wonder if any of those wound up in the hands of Hamas. I wonder if any of those weapons in Afghanistan from that botched pullout wound up in the hands of Hamas. It's fucking Donald Trump's fault. Meanwhile, our southern border is wide open, and you don't think our enemies are going to look at that and exploit it. See that big gaping hole in our southern border. All of those military-age men coming across the border, you think are all from South America and Central America? No, they're not. Not to mention all of the drug cartel members coming across, which the Biden administration has finally admitted, as you have Blinken and Mayorkas and the AG going down to Mexico City to try to figure out how to solve the problem. Build a fucking wall. But you want me to give my weapons up, as all those weapons we've been sending to Ukraine have wound up on the black market, along with those weapons from Afghanistan. Our border is wide open. They're screaming and chanting death to America after we just did this prison swap. But it's Donald Trump's fault. So when something happens in the United States, then it's going to be Donald Trump's fault, right? Not that gaping security hole we have in South America. Iran and Israel is Donald Trump's fault. As Ilhan Omar and Rashid Tlaib and all them celebrate what Hamas did, they don't stand with Israel. They celebrate a terrorist organization, which means they celebrate and support Iran. But it's Donald Trump, and we're in the cold.
This is just getting things started. But he speaks a lot of truth, whether you like it or not. And again, I'll tell you, if anybody has anything that they think that the band Beard, you can find him on TikTok, by the way. The band as in he's been banned. Beard 4 on TikTok. In fact, he just started another channel, the Beard 5, because he's afraid he's going to get wiped out on that channel too. He's had a bunch of channels. They won't let him grow because he's so right. They don't want the truth. But he's very well versed. And if anybody's got issues and thinks that he's full of crap, I'll let you come on this show and I'll arrange it. I'll give him a call because I do know him and see if we can work it out to where you can just debate with him, because he just has a conversation. He will never argue with anybody. And he makes himself very clear with that. But you better be well versed. You better do your homework because he does his. But I think that starts to, get things going. And now that we are in war, and everybody's now the Palestinian, Hamas is, staging all these things. They want their Palestinians to stay in Palestine so that way they can use them as human shields because they don't care about their own people. I'm sorry, they don't. Again, I have no qualms over Palestinian people. I've known, I don't really know a whole lot now. Used to. And, most people are just, they're peace loving. They just want to live. We all just want to live in peace. And there was for quite a while, but Hamas, they'll kill their own people they love war. They thrive on this stuff. And all this propaganda and made up baloney, and they don't want their own people to leave. They're trying to keep their people there so that way Israel, they can say, well, look what Israel did. And if you don't think they're doing it, I got news for you. Again, open your eyes, people. But check it out. So this is a clip from Fox News. And I know there's people that cannot stand Fox News. But the reason I'm using this clip is because nobody else will talk like this and talk about this situation, about the refugees. They're all Muslim refugees. They're surrounded by countries that are all Muslim. But these countries won't let the Palestinians, they don't want them to come into their countries. Why not? It's a good question. So America, why do we have to do everything? Why do we have to keep funding everything? These are oil-rich countries surrounding them, and they don't do crap. They don't do nothing. So here's a clip from Fox News. Whether you like it or not, the point is being made about why are they not being accepted? They're Muslim brothers and sisters. Why do they not want them in Sudan and Egypt and all these places that surround Palestine? Check this out.
One refugee crisis when you can have two. After letting in millions of Latin American refugees, the Mideast is calling next. That's right. Millions of Palestinians are fleeing Gaza, and America is being told, make room. The Palestinian neighborhood seems friendly. These Mideast countries are Muslim. They share the same values, culture. The weather's familiar. So is the cuisine. These Arab states are constantly advocating for the Palestinians. So you'd think countries like, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Jordan would open their arms and give sanctuary to their Arabic brothers and sisters. Nope. These countries want nothing to do with the Palestinians. So the American left sees that, raises their hand and says, we'll take them. Not only will we take them, we'll pay for their flights here and then pay for them to settle into your neighborhood. Meanwhile, if you're an American trapped in Israel, you have to pony up the money to flee. So why don't these Arab neighbors want the Palestinians? And what do they know that we don't? For one, a majority of Palestinians in Gaza support Hamas. So Fire Marshal Jamal sees violent radicals looking for a place to live and thinks, my district's perfect. New York is always looking for more terrorist sympathizers who vote Democrat. But Fire Marshal Jamal wants to vet them so we don't accidentally fly in Hamas. Joe Biden, who says he has no idea what his son does for a living, isn't the kind of guy I want vetting refugees from the Gaza Strip. America is the land of immigrants. Heck, my ancestors fled religious persecution in England. But the United States welcomes immigrants who assimilate. Do Palestinians strike you as people who you can easily assimilate here? And there are a lot of Jewish people here in New York. Why does Fire Marshal Jamal want to bring Palestinians to New York? We have enough problems. Let's not import 1 million people who cheered the 9/11 attacks into New York. Democrats want to deprogram Trump supporters, but now want to let in refugees who've been programmed to kill Jews since kindergarten. If you vote for Trump, you're in a cult and don't believe in democracy. But if you elect Hamas, and are obsessed with spilling Jewish blood, you're just an innocent civilian who needs a free one-way ticket to Manhattan. What happened last time a Western country took in Palestinian refugees? Well, I'll tell you. In 1992, Denmark let in over 300 Palestinian asylum seekers. None of the other Arab countries wanted them. Didn't go well. 2/3 of the Palestinian refugees became criminals, and 1/3 of their children were convicted of crimes as well. And most of them wound up on welfare. So if I'm Biden and I'm sending Egypt billions, I'm sending the Saudis billions, and I have carriers protecting all their security, I'm going to strongly suggest our Arab friends settle some Palestinians. Brooke Goldstein's a human rights attorney and CEO of the Lawfare Project. Brooke, is it like a suicide mission to all of a sudden raise your hands and say, let's bring in 1 million Palestinian refugees who've been trained from an early age to hate Jews and think violence is justified? Why would they do that?
You know, Jesse, I want to make something very clear from the start. You know, why is it in the first place that we might have refugees coming from Gaza? And the reason why I say might is because Hamas is the occupier of Gaza. It has a strategy, and that strategy is to use civilians as human shields. Its headquarters are in the basements of hospitals. Its weapons depots, where it stores its weapons, are in school classrooms. Hamas also is refusing to allow civilians to flee. And of course, Egypt, as you said earlier, has its border closed. So frankly, I think this is a hypothetical question that we're asking. But let's say, in the theoretical sense, you know, people are asking, how can we let in these refugees? And they're legitimate questions. Number one, as you mentioned earlier, why is it the sole responsibility of the United States or the West to take in Muslim refugees? Where are the other Arab countries? Where is Egypt? Where is Qatar? Where is Saudi Arabia? Where is Jordan? Why are they not opening their borders and welcoming their Arab brothers and sisters with open arms? Is it because they view them as a national security threat? And if, on the slim chance they do take in these so-called Palestinian refugees, how can we ensure that they are resettled, that they're not kept in perpetual refugee status as they have in Jordan? And the second question is obvious. What is the vetting process that you mentioned? Even after World War II, we took in Germans. There was a vetting process to make sure we were not taking in Nazis. What is the vetting process?
Yeah, and we still let some Nazis slip through. So it's never perfect, and you have to be perfect.
Does it make any sense? Regardless of what news station you see this on, thanks, Jesse Waters. That's Jesse Waters, and that's his world. But does it make any sense? Regardless of what news station, I mean, what they said, does that make any sense? Where are all these countries that are surrounding them, and they're oil-rich countries too? Why are we footing the bill for everything, and and taking things? I just before the show, I didn't have time to watch much today because it's a busy day on show day. But I flipped the TV on before we started just to see what's going on with our commander-in-chief, and sadly, and he announced that he's giving $100 million to Palestinian humanitarian aid. $100 million. Where are these other countries? They're Arab, they should all be those, they all coincide. They all are on the same religion, same ideology, same thoughts. How come they're not just opening and welcome arms because of the bad Israelis? They're not. They don't want them in the country because they know stuff. Just like they said, they know stuff. We over here getting fed a bunch of baloney and different thoughts. But $100 million, where's all this money coming from? Where's all the money coming from? They're sending all this money. They've been sending billions to Ukraine. Now we're sending $100 million over to Palestine, which, look, if I thought it was really going to go to humanitarian aid, I'd be okay with it. But I I promise you. The ministry, the Palestinian Ministry of Health or whatever that it's called over there, you know who that's run by? Take a second. Do you know who? That's like their top, they were voted in. That's their government. Do you know who it's run by? Just in case you don't know. Hamas. They run it. They run everything. So where do you think that money's going to go? You think it's really going to go to the people? They're going to be buying more bullets, people. They're going to be buying more bullets and sending more money for the people who are coming through our open border so that they can get weapons on the black market through the cartels and all that kind of stuff. So when they say it's go time, we're going to get into that too. $100 million. Again, all this money that they've sent to Ukraine and all these places, all of it's unaccounted for. And we're going to get into that too from the band Beard. Again, an educated person who breaks it down for you and spells it out. And that's why I present him, because I want you people to understand that I'm not just doing this because I have nothing better to do. I want the ones that don't understand, that are willing to listen, to possibly just listen and take it in, as a grain of salt, as to something to think about before they jump. They claim that the Israelis bombed a hospital yesterday. Not true. But again, propaganda. We're going to talk about fake news. Fake news ends up being, and they're going to prove it. They're going to prove it. And they're already proving it. But they're going to prove that it didn't even hit. And in fact, I just saw the footage tonight too. It didn't even hit the hospital. It hit the parking lot of the hospital. A lot less people are dead than they claim. But the Palestinian side, Hamas, is putting out all that information. It's propaganda to get you riled up for sympathy. Symphony. It's just the way it is. Look, I hate it. I want everybody to just knock it off, but they're going to have to put these guys down, because they look. And if you want to be sympathetic, if they came into this country, regardless of whether you're sympathetic to them or not, they're going to kill you. They hate Americans. Period. You don't believe and think like them, they're going to kill you. Period. That's the way they are, the way they've been, the way they're always going to be. And we just keep feeding them more money and stuff so they can just get stronger and stronger and do things like they've done now. They just came into Israel and just started killing people, anybody who they could. That's why Israel's pissed. Can't blame them. $100 million we gave to Palestinian humanitarian aid. I wouldn't mind, again, if I knew it was going to go to that, but I'd bet my life that it's not going to go. It's going to aid more weaponry and more ways to fight their war. That they love war, man. They love war. That's all they know. And on top of it, they don't even have an army. They don't have an army or a navy or nothing like that. They're just barbaric. They home-make bombs, and this is the problem. It was one of Hamas's rockets that went awry. It wasn't Israel. It didn't go where it was supposed to go, and it fell into the parking lot of a hospital. Yeah. What's West say? Oh boy, I don't have the money to get rid of our president, but I'll chip in. Yeah, well, it's going to take more than money. It's this mentality, this brainwashed mentality, because the globalists, they don't want to get wiped out and be seen for all the corruption that's going on, and that's why we're in this mess. So they create a bigger mess. Or I bet you they're already figuring out, who's gonna be getting the contract to rebuild Palestine. So all these corporations can make tons of money. But again, it's all planned. War is a moneymaker. War is a huge moneymaker. Now let's talk about propaganda real quick, okay? Because fake news. This is a real quick clip. I'm gonna play it, and because these are how everybody stages everything, and you just don't know what to believe. But this one was busted. And check this out. All right, it's real fast, but it's very effective. Whoops. Again, staged. all these wars, even when they were doing, Ukraine war, Pepsi was showing, they were showing things, or monkeypox. When monkeypox came in, they were showing all these people sick and everything. It was in black and white and things from decades ago. It's just pure sinister. The length that people will go to, the media will go to scare the living shit out of you. That's what it is. It's a fear-based business. That's what happened when everybody was having to get the old pokeroonie. Scare you into it. Telling you, if you do this, you'll be fine. Which was the farthest from the truth. Didn't do anything. In fact, you're probably less than fine. But that's a whole nother discussion. And I've gotten shut down. I won't talk about it. But you know what I mean. And there's people that are going to fight with me to the death. They're going, you're an idiot. That are so pro hokey pokey. It's gonna fix everything, even though you needed to do it 9 times and counting. Have you noticed since all these wars and everything going on the past 3 weeks? 3 weeks ago and more, there was all this talk about a new surge of things coming in to make you not feel good, and you better go get hokey pokeyed. I don't know why I'm saying hokey pokey. Maybe because if I turn myself around, that's what it's all about. If I do the hokey pokey. But there's no mention of it. It's like, you know what? That's not working. Let's have some war. That'll do it. Fear. And it works for a lot of people. It works. Fear. What did I do with my here we are. So anyway, fake news. That clip right there was made years ago. I can't remember when, but I remember seeing it years ago just by accident, before I was even doing this show. But again, I'm here to tell you that this is the bull crap that you have to watch, or that's a busted, that's busting the fake news. But that's just one example on how they were trying to film, to make things, and make like there's people dying and they're carrying fake babies and people, everything's blown up. They're showing pictures from other wars. You don't know the difference. A blown up building is a blown up building. It's all bullshit. Not that it's not happening. How come we're not seeing a lot of stuff in Ukraine anymore? They don't show you anything. We're not seeing anything. So we don't know what's going on over there. They just tell you things and we have to believe it. Meanwhile, billions and billions. Zelensky's got many houses he's buying all over the world. He's putting that money, for when things go awry. He'll be long gone and sitting pretty for the rest of his life, beyond pretty. Because for every billion that came in, you could bet your lucky stars that there was a whole bunch of people that were dipping into the pot, and still are, because we keep on sending them more money. Everybody's getting a taste, except for the poor Ukrainians that need it. That's my point. This is what goes on, people. If you don't believe me, like I said, do a little bit, dig a little deeper. I'm just might be, starting to kindle to your brain to go, you know what? Maybe there is something to this. But if you don't buy it, you don't buy it. And I'm sure I'll get the hate mail, but that's okay. Some people, some men, you just can't reach. That was a fake video. And it was blatant to see that they were faking it, fake news. And this is the world we're living in. I talked about it, many shows ago about how Obama passed he redacted a law that prohibited the news media to be telling whatever the hell to be saying anything they want to say. Now they can say anything they want to say. The Smith-Mund Act of 1948 or something. Google it. Smith-Mund of 1948 clearly shows on Google. And they didn't take it down, which I'm really glad that Obama redacted a law, because there used to be a law that said the media needs to stay in line. They cannot make up their own crap. And now they can do whatever they want. And they're doing it. They don't have any ramifications of being sued, nothing like that. They can say whatever the hell they want to say. And whether you want to believe it or not, and most do, because we used to trust the news. That's why I have a hard time getting mad at people. Because we used to trust the news. And so people, like the ones who are going to be yelling at me for talking about this and not getting on with the next video, but people who believe that will say, why would the news lie to us? Why would they lie to us? Big business, that's all. To keep you hooked. keep you down. That's why. You don't even have to believe me. It's a good thought to question it and go look for yourself. That's what's happening. It sucks. Let's talk about the border, because the border has a lot to do with the Middle East, because the border, as I've mentioned before, is running ragged. People are coming in. The cartels run everything. See, this is the problem. It's like people in Mexico have to live with the cartels, and they don't dare say a thing because they know they'll get ousted in a second. And that's the problem with the Palestinians over there. They got like the Hamas is like a cartel. And if you don't agree with them, you better keep your mouth shut. Otherwise, you're going to be gone. That's simple. Cartels are running the border. We have wide open borders, people. And anybody who thinks it's closed needs to go down there. Get your head examined. But we're not getting this, because in the beginning it's like, why can't oppressed people have a better chance at a better life? We're not getting oppressed people. We're getting military age fighting people from China's, the Middle East, Syria's, all over the place. And again, here's where I, come in and say this. This was from, the Byron Show. I guess he posted this. He found it on TikTok, but he put his stamp on it, so I'll give it to him. The Byron Show has a video right here about the border, and you need to be very concerned because they're here in our land, and they'll be in your town. God forbid something happens, but check it out and we'll talk.
This video coming out of Arizona will shock you. We are going to be invaded from the inside. America, wake up, patriots. Stand strong to protect your country and your family. Watch this.
Close down for American citizens going into Mexico, and close down for Mexican citizens coming into America. This is only being used for CBP-1 illegal entry into America. Now, that's salt in the wound. The real threat was what I saw yesterday, and I want to play some of this footage. I went back to Lukeville, Arizona. And what I saw should shock every single American. As soon as I got there, there was a tent of 150 fighting-age men, mostly from West Africa, Muslim countries in Africa, the Middle East, and India. And what they told me is that they actually, the new place that they're getting all of these people from, right here, you can see it right there on the screen. Those tents, that was yesterday, and this is happening every single day. 150 of them. They said they had over 500 yesterday alone in that one location. 500. And what scared me, now I went up, the Border Patrol, you could tell, was so frustrated. They wanted me to get in there and film it and show you close up. As soon as I did that, at the end of this video, I had a guy come out from National Park, said I couldn't be that close. I couldn't film this. I had to go across the street. And our own national park, our national monument down there. This is what's coming into America. But the scariest part, Border Patrol came up to me and he said, you need to know and you need to report this. We're getting huge numbers from Syria right now. And if we can show the picture, they sent me a picture of one of the guys from Syria. If we can show that picture of...
So who gets an AK-47 tattooed on their forearms? Somebody who likes firearms. And that's someone illegal coming here. These are cell groups, sleeper cell groups that are going to wake up and attack Americans. I'm telling you. Bro, I'm telling you.
This guy just came across our southern border.
Ben,
this is just
just
one.
hang on. Just hang on. Yeah, just hang on. Okay, Cash.
And who's bringing
Syria's
these people
across,
here? Who's
Hamas
paying
is coming
for
across,
it?
Hezbollah's coming across. You got Benson reporting. The Chinese Communist Party, I've heard from intelligence sources, not totally confirmed, 100,000 fighting-age men over the last year and a half, 2 years.
100,000 fighting-age men can be here in sleeper cells waiting for someone to say, let's go. So you better be prepared. Stop playing around. Get your heart right with Jesus and get ready to protect your country and your family.
Do the math, right? When you have 2+ million people coming in, 100,000 isn't that big of a number, right? Do the math. And when you have America's enemies combining together, Syria, the mullahs, as you said, KGB, the CCP, and other terrorist organizations, along with the Mexican drug cartels who are hosting them at the southern border, of course they're coming in because they are reaching one common goal: destruction of the United States of America.
This is happening. This is happening. They're coming in. And where are they getting their money from? Just men, just coming all the way from Syria, going all the way down and all coming in. You think they're all really nice people just wanting to live in America, to have the American dream? You really think that? You better hope that things that are, and things will happen because there's so many crazy radical people. And Israel, they have somewhat restricted gun laws. Do you think, had they had these houses and families, had they had the opportunity to have enough firearms and ammunition, do you not think that they wouldn't have tried to save their families when they were just getting their houses busted down and getting all shot up out of nowhere? Would you not want to protect your family instead of being defenseless? Even if you got killed, if you took some of them out, would you not do that? Your children? Come on, people. And all these people, guns are bad. This is the whole reason why you should have 100-round chambers or whatever for things like this. Yeah, it doesn't happen as much over here, and they only tend to show the one or two bad things that happen, which there's way more things that happen that are worse over here. But it's all propaganda. Bad guns. It's not bad guns, it's bad people. I know tons of people have tons of guns. You don't see them shooting nobody. But if you provoke them and try to take their life, they're going to definitely try to take yours before that happens. And I played the wrong clip. Here's the Byron show. This is more of the border. But you need to think this out for those who are questioning. Because if you think that border open is a good thing, we're in trouble. I mean, even if we shut it today, we're in big trouble. They're all here, and they keep coming. And we won't know until something bad happens. And then you're going to get the I told you so, providing that you're alive and it didn't happen to be in your neighborhood. Because somebody's going to get the unlucky number of being at the wrong place at the wrong time. Somebody will. A bunch of somebodies. It's not going to be small time. Check this out. This is from the Byron show.
I just watched a video of 50 Syrian men crossing our border in Arizona. I just have a few questions. Where are the women and children? How did they get from Syria to Mexico? Who paid for them to get to Mexico? If you believe these are asylum seekers, do you believe that there were no children and women who also needed asylum? No, just military-aged men. And why are we allowing 95% of them to come into our country? And why is our government not asking any of these questions? Why is this not being blasted all over the news? Who are these military-aged women and childless men that are coming into our country? Make it make sense.
She makes a really great point there.
She does make a really good point there. That's why he said that. Where are these people coming from? How are they affording to come all the way, if they're that oppressed, to come all the way from Syria or the Middle East, India's, you name it, Cuba's, the Venezuela's, all these people? They don't like us. They don't like us at all. What are they doing here then? Why are they coming here? You think they're going to try to get a job and send money home? Some of the good people, that's their intent from South Americas and things like that. But again, it's a small percentage of the real people, a large percentage of let's get into America and take advantage of it. Because they hate America. They hate Americans. They're all going to be hanging out waiting to get their chance, because if they die, Allah is going to reward them with 20,000 virgins and whatever else they're supposed to get. It's just a screwed up mentality. You know it and I know it. And mostly peaceful Muslims know it too. It's a screwed up mentality. It's plain out retarded. But that's what they live in. They teach to hate, and the kids are brought up from children to hate. And that's all they know. So how can you blame them, kind of? But how do you fix it? You're going to have to clean the slate and start over, and hoping that the young generation will have a different look at things instead of hate. It sucks. It sucks bad. But this is what they're doing. Anyway, but that's what's okay. The border. Don't think and all these sanctuary states. You got Chicago and New York. They are screaming now. They are crying that they're overwhelmed, and they've only gotten busloads of people sent to them. They got 100,000 people or something, that has been sent to these cities that are being overwhelmed now with refugees. Meanwhile, all these border towns and everything are getting tens of thousands and a day. They're coming through. Those places that they're showing you where they're coming through and they're getting 9,000 people in a day and things like that, that's only one spot. There's hundreds and hundreds of miles. Not to mention the drugs. Don't forget about the drugs, the drug trafficking. The cartel's making a gazillion million dollars. They're aiding in all this because they don't care about us either. They're just pimping us out. Think, people, because if we don't raise enough hell about this and keep saying, hey, we're on to this, do something about it. If you don't, the only people raising hell are the small percentage of whack jobs. Do you see in Harvard, the kids, the college students, they're supporting Hamas and the Palestinians and things like that, and then all of a sudden, all these corporations that fund Harvard and stuff just started pulling money out and going, and we want all the names of all these kids that signed this protest that are in favor of Hamas and what's going on, and we want their names because when they get out of school to be lawyers and things like that, we don't want to hire them. And now they're crying. They're crying and they need support, and they're asking for funding, support, donations for their mental health. It's like mental health. It's like a slap in the head is mental health. My father needed to get me in line, and that was his version of mental health was the belt. It worked. It worked. Nothing straightens you up than jumping from the damn belt. But we have raised such generations. The most privileged kids are going to Harvard and all these Yales and all that. It used to be a great thing to go to these schools. Now they're just feeding them with bullshit. And the professors are to blame. All those guys need to be wiped out. I don't get it. I just don't understand. Back to the common sense. I don't get it. Where the hell is all the common sense gone? But this is what's happening, and we're allowing it to happen. This was what even makes it sadder. We allow this. All we have to do is scream like the small percentage of whack jobs screaming with the protests and the LGBTQ plus and all the radicals that have no information. They just take what they're being told. A lot of them are getting paid too. You got your Soroses and all this. They want the havoc. They're getting paid. Here, go do this. And they believe it too because they're very influenceable, They're kids. They're too young. They're in their early 19, 21, 22s. You can brainwash them in no time. They may change their minds when they get older, but right now, and then they're in full force too because they're young and roaring bucks. But you got the radicals and again just screaming, and they don't even know what they're screaming about. They think they know what they're screaming about, but they don't. And it sucks. So this video is about we're not safe at the border, and this guy uses a good bit of profanity, but he's serious. So for those who wish that there wasn't profanity on the show, I try to limit it, but I'm trying to make a point here, and so you just have to take the good with the bad, but the point is going to be well taken. So check this out.
You feel safe? I don't feel safe after watching Iran pull a Red Dawn on Israel yesterday. Knowing that we have a potato as a commander-in-chief, he's already fucked us economically, so why not get us into another war? Our borders are wide open, okay? They don't even have to fly from the skies. Once they get their orders, they'll just fucking be here because they're already here as sleeper cells. Thanks to your potato commander-in-chief. In fact, if you still support that potato, you should be investigated because you don't love this country either. This shit needs to change, and it needs to change yesterday. We are fucked. We're just waiting to be massacred. It's not good. Fucking tired of this shit.
Short and sweet, but to the point. We are screwed. We are screwed. We have to wait until a tragedy happens, more distractions, more lives have to be lost before anything gets done. How many tragedies do we have to have? The fires, Maui. That's all getting swept under the rug. Quick, you don't hear nothing about it no more. You don't. Sucks. But it's, my father, because, we have, when I was growing up in Florida, we have hurricanes. And years ago, my father, I remember him telling me, and it was like, because the hurricane would wipe out a lot of old buildings, do some damage. And there's parts of town where I grew up in that were kind of old and run down. And And we were driving by them, and my father's like, well, he says, the good thing is, he says, we'll get rid of all that old stuff, and they'll build new and build, some newer stuff and better looking stuff. And it, in the future, it'll be improved. But this is their ideology: wipe out everything and then build the way they want to build it. Create the way they want to create. Get rid of that history. It sucks. Speak up, people. If they keep knowing that everybody is on to them and alert and watching, it screws them up. They can't keep moving forward. But when you just get distracted and you fall into the bullshit that they're sending you, just feeding into it and keep creating the fear, we're going to lose. That border should be number one for the United States of America. That border should be closed. And even though it's closed, and then we start trying to find the people, which good luck with that shit. We try to find these people and start sending them back where they came from, going through each and every one of them and sending them. And we can do it, but we have our border patrols and all our federal agencies being secretaries at the border. So it's pitiful. It's pitiful. I'm going to do this last video here. One more from the band Beard. He pretty much sums up the whole thing, okay, as to where we're at now, what's going on. And again, I love this guy. You can find him on TikTok, the band Beard 4, or the band Beard 5 too. He just started a new channel because he thinks he's going to get shut down on the 4. But this guy makes a lot of sense. This will wrap it all up for this portion of me bitching about what's going on because it's the truth. But check him out.
Where's our money? It's a pretty simple question. Where's our money? See, it's funny. In 2021, there was a vote put on our congressional floor about not sending a single dime to Ukraine unless it could be audited and accounted for. That was voted down. They said, you American people don't need to know where your tax dollars are going. Then Sam Bankman-Fried told us they were laundering money in Ukraine. He said that. Then our liberal news media ran a story stating that less than 20% of the money is even getting to the Ukrainian people. Again, these are all three public pieces of information. Another piece of public information is go look at the stocks held by our congressional members in Lockheed Martin prior to the defense budget being passed in 2021. Go look at the stocks of our purchases of our congressional members in government contract stocks before all of these conflicts broke out. Why do we never see any videos or footage or pictures or anything coming out of Ukraine? Yet they were already talking about rebuilding Ukraine before the war's even close to being over. And go look at who won the contracts. So you guys like to do your 2-second Google search. Yep, that's about how long it'll take you to see who won those contracts. We had no conflicts when Trump was in office. Not even other countries having major conflicts. But yet all of a sudden we're having Pandora's box open to where we have these climate change fires, although no fire in history has ever started from climate change. And the first thing they talk about is the rebuild. And who gets that contract for the rebuild? And how are they going to rebuild that city or area? See, the best way to force change is to destroy something and rebuild it from the ground up. As Maui government was saying that they were trying to seize the land for the state and not give it back to the people. As they were already handing out contracts in Ukraine for the rebuild. I wonder who's already going to win the contracts for the rebuild with what's going on between Israel and Palestinians. It's funny how this $6.5 billion pops up and then boom, all hell breaks loose in the Middle East. Nobody can tell me where the money's going. Nobody's accounting for where the money's going. How is this organization out there that I'm not going to mention by name, how is it that they're funded? Where's their money coming from? And how are they getting so much power and influence in countries that nobody's ever elected them in? The people of those countries don't get a say-so in the influence that these organizations, which are private citizens that are all just happen to be wealthy billionaires that you guys claim to hate, how are they having so much influence in other people's countries, and how are they being funded? Where is our money, because nobody can tell us where it's going. Nobody can show us where it's going. Everything that they send our money out for is unaccounted for. It's just a check and here you go. Meanwhile, our borders are wide open and our cities are now crying that they're going into bankruptcy. Where's our money? Because all of these problems are solved. Your housing problem, hospitals, schools, education, everything is solved if we keep count of where our money is and it stays right here.
That's right. Where's the money? Show me the money. It's all about money. Nothing's accounted for. They've been screaming, certain people in Congress, the ones who want to know where the money is, because it's our money. It's your money. Where is it? They can't tell you. You don't need to know. Don't worry about it. Next week, Wednesday, October 25th, I want to remind you, former Red Pill Hardcore radio talk show host V is going to be on the show. Going to see what his take is from the other side of the world on what's going on. He's in Poland, or actually he's just leaving. He's in Poland and has been in Poland for several years. So interesting to hear his take on what goes on over there and versus what we hear over here. So he's going to be on the show Wednesday, next week. Wednesday, October 25th, Red Pill Hardcore Show, former talk show host, V. Don't miss it. Thank all you all for watching. Thank you for subscribing and sharing. Please keep doing that. And I'll see you guys next week. Reminder, be kind. Life is short. Bunch of stuff going on every day. You don't have to take a bunch of crap from people, but you don't have to be an ass either. Just take a breath before you speak. Take it from one who knows. Still learning. I love you guys. I really do. Thank you for watching Life of Peter G. The Peter G Show every Wednesday, like clockwork, 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, and 9 p.m. on the East Coast. God willing. I love you guys. Peace out.
Peter G Show. Peter G Show. Divorced dad. Single